Most people think they have a marketing problem, but I am here to tell you that might not be the case for your business. Look, I have been doing this whole entrepreneur thing for almost a decade now. I have specifically been teaching marketing and marketing strategies for the last 6 years, and most entrepreneurs will come to me really thinking they have a marketing problem. Entrepreneurs will spend months fixing their funnels, testing out a bunch of different marketing platforms, and we all know how exhausting that can be. They'll be trying ads, they'll be updating their website copy, they'll be thinking they need a new course to solve their marketing problems, when at the end of the day, the issue isn't even a marketing issue. It's a branding issue, and specifically, it's a messaging and storytelling issue. Marketing amplifies the message. It doesn't create it. And a lot of entrepreneurs are going about building their business the wrong way. And they're exhausted and they're burnt out and they're wondering why the strategies aren't working for them. But here is the secret that I keep telling my clients. Marketing and all of the different marketing strategies that you hear about online, they all work. Every single one of them. That's why we keep hearing about them. The trick is finding the marketing strategy that works for you. So constantly changing your strategy when it feels good, but you don't think it's working is a complete waste of time. And B, it's all in the messaging. It's all in the storytelling. It's all how you are showing up in the world and what it is you are specifically saying. Because people don't buy tactics. People don't buy how to. They buy the transformation that provides. They choose your brand over another brand because of the connection. And they buy from people that they trust. So today, we're going to talk about why your messaging and why specifically your marketing might not be working. We're going to dive into 3 specific problems so that you can finally stop second guessing your marketing and get to the root cause of the actual problem. Hi, I'm Michelle Knight. I'm the founder and CEO of Brand Mary. I know that was a pretty intense introduction, but as you can see, I'm a little heated about this conversation. I'm really saddened by the fact that most entrepreneurs are giving up on their businesses because they think they're not great at marketing. Anybody can teach you how to be great at marketing, but if the core part of your brand, the beating heart of your brand, the message, the thing that is integrated into all of those marketing strategies, if it's not solid, then the marketing's not going to work no matter what you do. And I see so many entrepreneurs spending thousands and thousands of dollars trying to fix their marketing when they really need to fix their branding. Now, we're not going to sit here and talk about the branding process. I have tons of videos about that. I'm not going to talk about your niche, not even really much about your ideal customer. We're getting deeper today. We're talking about messaging and storytelling, and you're in good hands because I have been teaching this particular topic, brand and digital storytelling, for almost a decade now. And it is something I absolutely love sharing with you, and I feel really confident by the end of this video, you're going to be able to pinpoint these specific problems and fix them rather quickly. So why do I know that this might be the problem, aside from 10 years of helping other entrepreneurs? It's because I dealt with the exact same thing. If we go all the way back to 2016, when I started my business, was doing all of the marketing strategies that I learned in school, had been using in my corporate world for multiple years at this point in time. When I put all of those strategies into my business online, I made $0 for about 8 months. And again, it wasn't because I wasn't marketing. It wasn't because I wasn't creating content. It wasn't even because I wasn't consistent. I was everywhere. Literally everywhere, every single day. I am not a stranger to the hustle. I was willing to put in the time and the energy. But I reached a point where I had to literally look at myself in the mirror and go, what is going on? Because I had spent so much time using these marketing strategies that I was being taught online or had been taught in school, I forgot a very crucial step. And that was getting super clear on the message that my marketing was meant to amplify. So I sounded like everybody else online. I blended in the mini Facebook groups, and my Instagram was I couldn't clearly articulate why someone should choose my brand over someone else's. And if I couldn't articulate that, guess what? My audience had no freaking idea. But then something shifted. I said, screw it with all of the templates and the strategies and the structured types of posts and the hooks and all of that. And I went down to what it was I was trying to communicate, the transformation that I was providing, all messaging pieces. And I literally oozed storytelling in every single thing that I did. Every post, every live video, every pre-recorded video, every email, every blog, everything had storytelling oozed inside. And guess what happened within literally 48 hours of making this change on a live video? I signed a $3,000 client. That was the very first sale that I made in my business with an email list of under 100 people. And that's all that changed. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it was the easiest thing in the world. There were a lot of different things that had to happen. We're going to talk about 3 specifically today, but I'm telling you that my marketing didn't change. It was that I finally had something worth marketing. And that is where storytelling comes into play. All right, so if it is not your marketing, then what is it? Here are 3 culprits or problems that might be happening for your business specifically. Number 1, you sound like everyone else, or worse, you sound like a robot. You sound like AI. Look, I love AI. I love using it in my business, but you should not be using it to write your content. I don't care what program you bought. I don't care what personalized AI system you have, because AI does not know the deep, intimate stories and personality traits that you can tie into all of your content. And those stories, those micro moments, all of that stuff is what differentiates you online. Your audience, me, you, the human race, is exhausted with generic content. I cannot scroll on social media without seeing the same freaking thing said by completely different people. It's like, be original. And I understand that it's hard to be original today. It is hard to come up with a concept or come up with something that has not been already shared online. This is where storytelling comes into play, because you can't do that. I can't share with you a how-to framework on storytelling that probably hasn't been shared somewhere else on the interwebs, but I can do it in my authentic way, and I can integrate my own story, and I can share with you how this changed my life or the life of a customer. And that is the thing that AI and someone else cannot replicate. Whew, I'm getting heated. I get really passionate about this topic. Look, if your messaging could work for any entrepreneur in any industry, then it's not messaging, it is noise. And we don't need more noise online. We need humans. We need real connection. This is what people are craving. Your story, your specific journey, your unique perspective, these are things that cannot be replicated, and these are things that need to be shared online. People want to feel seen. They want to feel understood. I have literally been saying this since 2016 in my business, and guess what? I'm not the first person who has ever said this, but I have stuck to the idea that as a great marketer, your goal is to make your audience feel seen and understood. And the way that you do that is through empathy and authority through storytelling. Now, I know that this is not easy. I understand, and I know it feels like I'm yelling at you. I really am not. I am just trying to help you understand that you already possess every single thing that is going to differentiate you online. Your task is now understanding that it's your role and only you in making the decision to share that with other people. That rather than spinning your wheels and wondering why you're not making any money and your marketing isn't working, you need to be brave. You need to understand that your story has a place in the world, that your story needs to be heard, that people genuinely are waiting for you to show up in your full power and in your full voice and share your unique perspective with them. They are waiting. And I know that it's not the easiest thing in the world. I have struggled with it too, as someone who still preaches storytelling, as someone who can share all the methodologies and give you prompts out the wazoo to literally share your story multiple times a day, every day for years to come. I also struggle with showing up and owning my voice. It is something that I will always be working on, but that is the point. You will never actually be ready to do it. Just choose to do it. And you continuously do it until the ripple effect is literally felt. And people are telling you, I needed to hear this. I bought your program because you talked about this. I read your story and it really resonated with me. I also have experienced something like this, and I know that you're the person I need to work with. What people are looking for is your story and knowing that you exist. That's where marketing comes into play. Marketing doesn't fix the problem, it amplifies the voice. So if you went through the branding process and someone instructed you to look outside yourself for inspiration, I am really going to encourage you to take a different approach, inward to outward. Ask yourself, what do you want to be known for? What do you want to share with other people? What is the mission behind your brand? What are the pieces of your story that you believe could inspire someone else? And let that navigate. Let that dictate the copy and the content and the messaging that you create. Number 2 is that there's no emotional connection. Now, the beautiful thing about this is this naturally will come from your storytelling when you are doing storytelling correctly. This is also something that I talked in great detail about in a video a few weeks ago that I'm going to link below, and you can check it out right here as well. It's all about emotional branding and all about emotional branding in your marketing. But as I've already mentioned, your audience needs to feel something. It is that feeling that gets them to take the next step. Let's use social media as an example. They're on social media and they're scrolling, usually as a way to disassociate from the real world. They are in a trance, if you will, and it's going to take something emotional to pull them out of said trance. And then it's going to take something even more emotional to get them to stop scrolling and take the action that you're asking them to take. This is why emotional connection is more important today than it has ever been. And when I stumbled on emotional branding back in 2016, I knew that it played a huge role in the branding process, how you wanted to show up, your colors, your fonts, all of those things. But it has gradually increased its importance over the years as it plays a role in marketing and since the introduction of short form video. You might have heard that people make a decision to purchase emotionally, but they justify it with the logistics. This is why the emotional aspect has to be the forefront leader in everything that you create with your marketing. And again, there are a few different steps to this emotional branding aspect. Number 1 is understanding how you want people to feel when you are at the branding level, when you are discovering your niche and your ideal customer and your offer and your core messaging and those things I told you I wasn't going to talk about today. I have an entire video about that. I will link it below, the whole process of branding and my signature process that is inward to outward. That's where you establish the emotional core of your brand. But then you need to be integrating and expressing that emotion through your copywriting and your content. This is where emotionally charged copy comes into play. So using words and painting a very vivid picture that your audience is going to resonate with. It's also going against the grain. It's capturing their attention by saying something that might go against what they've previously heard. I call this an industry disrupt when I'm talking to my clients. It also could be a vulnerability or a truth that people aren't seeing online. I recently posted a reel where I said, this is something that a lot of entrepreneurs aren't talking about. It's the messy middle. All of these different types of content are what I would consider a bit jarring to the scroll. They are stopping the scroll, which is exactly what you want to happen when it comes to your content. This is how you get the messaging and the content that works on the marketing platform that increases engagement, that increases conversions, all of those things that we want. It's refreshing to know that it isn't necessarily a specific template. It is in fact just hooking your audience with an emotional pull. Again, I have an entire video on emotional branding. I have quite a few actually, but my most recent one I will link below for you to check out. It's an incredibly valuable video with some examples on emotionally charged language that I think is really going to help you when it comes to increasing the engagement and the conversions on your content. Problem number 3, and the one that's probably going to make most of you mad at me, because I did say I wasn't going to do ideal customer work today, but we can't talk about marketing and messaging without talking about your ideal customer. Breathe in with me, breathe out with me. You need an ideal customer. I'm sorry, I'm not sorry. If your content's not working, if you feel like your marketing's not working, if you aren't making sales in your business, it's because your ideal customer is not clear. Bottom freaking line. Because if your ideal customer is not clear, you cannot create specific messaging. If your ideal customer is not clear, you cannot create emotionally charged language. If your ideal customer is not clear, you're not telling the right type of stories to speak directly to your ideal customer. And if your ideal customer is not clear, you might be promoting the wrong offer. Understanding who your ideal customer is and speaking to someone specifically really is the key to strong messaging and marketing that works. And look, I get it. I am going through a massive shift in my own brand. I've been doing this for 10 years. It's time for a very big refresh. And that is causing me to actually have to go back and revisit some of those branding pieces and adjust who I am speaking to. And that looks like starting to build a community of people that match that new customer profile. Yes, there will be some crossover from my existing community because the underlying theme of brand storytelling has always been true for my business and my brand, but I'm going to lose a lot of people in the process as well. And I need to be okay with that because I know that if I keep marketing and keep speaking with this new direction to that old group of people, I'm not going to make any money. And as a business owner, I need to make money. I want to make money. As a human being, I want to be incredibly rich because I know that it gives me a lot of options, and I like options. And so I have to make the hard decision of getting very specific with my audience in order for all of my messaging, my marketing, my storytelling, all of that stuff to work moving forward. 9 times out of 10, when people come to me with a branding problem or they come to me with a marketing problem, this is the first thing that I focus on. Are they truly clear on who they're speaking to? Because just fixing this one tiny thing can have an incredible ripple effect on everything in their business. This is how you get your audience, like I mentioned in the beginning, to say things like, she gets me. Wow, they understand my struggle. Wow, it's like they're reading my diary. If anyone keeps diaries, I know we call them journals. They're journal. But if you're being too general, too safe, too broad, then you cannot create that specific connection that we need online. And you run the risk of sounding super generic and like everybody else on the internet. Those are your 3 things. And I know I went into a ton of detail about what those were because I want you to truly understand where the problem might be inside of your business and your current strategy. And now that you know that, you can take the steps to autocorrect. You can figure out what it is that truly differentiates you online, and understanding that you showing up and sharing that really is your secret freaking weapon. And it is what's going to help your marketing perform at the level in which you want it to perform. If you go through and you look at the posts that you've saved and the videos that you've watched and the things that you've hearted or shared with other people in your life, I guarantee you there is something different about that. Something you haven't seen before. Something that pulls something emotional out of you. All of the things that are speaking to you, that are working for you, are the things that you are avoiding when it comes to your own marketing. But let's stop that today. So let's understand that our voice is important and it is integral in our marketing strategy. And the more that we can speak up and we can share our opinions and we can speak directly to our ideal customer and we can share our story and those connection pieces, the better off our business and ultimately our marketing is going to be. I have linked a ton of resources for you below as it relates to storytelling and emotional branding. Don't leave now. Dive into one of those stories because now you're motivated. You're ready. So get some actionable strategic steps to make those shifts in your business right now. It could be creating your story bank. I've got a video on story bank and creating a story bank in 30 minutes. It could be understanding the framework in which to share your stories. I shared that video with you last week. It could be understanding emotional branding and how to create emotionally charged language. You can find that resource below, and a ton of other amazing resources on brand storytelling. Because at the end of the day, I truly feel that my purpose is to help you own your story and share that story with the world. And most likely you're here because you're a business owner. And that, my friend, is a fantastic way to amplify your story and also create revenue and a better life for your family as a result of sharing your story with the world. Do you see how powerful that is? Not only can we impact the lives of other people by sharing our story, but we are also creating a better life for ourselves and our family. Yeah, that's what it's about. So I create new videos every single Tuesday. Come back next week. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss those videos. I'm actively trying to build my YouTube, so just hit that subscribe button. Help us sister out. I would absolutely love and appreciate you. And again, dive into some other resources while you are here. I will be back next week for another training on storytelling and specifically the story framework that built my 6-figure business in my first year as a business owner. See you soon. Bye.